Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolits. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The red-colored invitation letter in Leonard Hunter's hands looked very familiar to Zane Martell. Somehow he seemed to have seen the invitation somewhere else before this. Where was it? Zane Martell was deep in his thoughts. Suddenly he raised his head and released a stream of willpower into his storage ring, searching for something everywhere. Suddenly, he found a red invitation letter in the corner of the storage ring. He had long forgotten. There was not a single word written on the letter. The moment the invitation landed on his hand, a faint suction force came from within, attracting Zane Martell's vital energy inside. Suddenly, the invitation gave off a faint light and aura. Then a strange pattern appeared on it. The pattern was shockingly a sky divine tree. On top of the divine branch was a genuine dragon with an intimidating aura. Zane Martell was startled.
The pattern and the symbol. Wasn't this the logo of the Wormhaven Palace?
The moment the invitation appeared, the aura it emitted also startled the messenger. He looked at Zane Martell in great surprise. He ignored Zane Martell and reached out his hand. A suction force burst out of his hand and sucked the invitation away from Zane Martell. The young man's expression stiffened the moment he grabbed the invitation. He asked in a deep voice,
"Answer me, where did you get the invitation from?"
Isn't that the invitation from the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven?
"What is going on? Does Zane Martell have the invitation from the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven? No way." Samuel Blake, Gavin Owens, and Alora were instantly stunned. They stared blankly at Zane Martell. Even Leonard Hunter and Ethan Reed, who were extremely excited at first, suddenly stopped smiling. They stared at Zane Martell in disbelief and felt shocked in their hearts. Did Zane Martell have an invitation? How was that possible? This was impossible. After all, the invitation from the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven was not something that could be owned by ordinary people. Either someone on the Zora Genius list or someone with powerful talents and strength could get an invitation. Zane Martell fulfilled neither condition to be considered worthy of the Wormhaven Palace messenger's attention. This young messenger had just arrived at the Northern Demon Country, which meant Zane Martell had obtained the invitation much earlier. How was this possible? The invitation must be a fake. It must be a fake. The two comforted themselves with this thought. However, the young messenger could recognize whether it was true or not. Even Zane Martell was startled. Only then did he realize that this invitation was really from the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven.
To answer that question, my friend gave me that.
Your friend?
The young messenger found that answer strange, but Zane Martell was not lying. Caleb Pierce was the one who gave him the invitation. When he was still in the Dark Wolf Hall in Eastern Palm, Caleb Pierce gave him the invitation, saying that they would meet again when the time was right. Now it seemed that Caleb Pierce's identity was much more complicated than Zane Martell had imagined. Could it be that the appropriate timing Caleb Pierce referred to was the screening process of the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven? Even Zane Martell was puzzled.
Since you have an invitation, you can directly join the screening process of the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. But then, I don't think you can pass the preliminary rounds. Considering that you also have an invitation, I can pretend that I didn't hear your friends offending the Wormhaven Palace. But if you dare do that again, I will kill all of you without hesitation.
The young messenger was arrogant and mighty, not bothered about everyone else present. After saying that, he turned around and left. The moment he left, his gaze landed on Zane Martell, revealing a trace of disdain and coldness. When the messenger completely disappeared from sight, the previous royal family troops erupted into an uproar. Almost everyone surrounded Zane Martell and asked ecstatically,
"Zane Martell, when did you obtain the invitation? Why didn't you tell me?"
Ha 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 ha. Zane Martell, your method of doing things has really widened our horizons. You want to put those rebels to shame, don't you?
Not bad. Zane Martell, you must do your best in the screening process for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven.
Even if you can't become a reserved Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven, you can't let Leonard Hunter and Ethan Reed become the Dragon Envoys of Wormhaven.
They kept talking, and their expressions were filled with excitement. They placed all their hopes on Zane Martell. But deep inside, Zane Martell couldn't shake off the feeling that this was just the beginning. The journey ahead was uncertain, and the challenges he would face were still unknown. Meanwhile, Orion Slade, Leonard Hunter, and the others were trembling with anger. If the messenger had not forbidden them from erupting into war, they would have unleashed all their strength to kill Zane Martell.
Don't worry, Father. Zane Martell is only at the first stage of the expert level. If I can kill him once, I can kill him a second time.
He was shocked to learn that Zane Martell was alive and had escaped the fiery furnace blood prison. Even more shocking was Zane Martell's advancement to the expert level. However, he did not take Zane Martell seriously.
Was there a need for me to be afraid of someone who couldn't even make it into the Zora Genius list?
Soon, Samuel Blake ordered his troops to set up their camps and wait until the screening for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven was over, before attacking the enemy again. By then, as long as no one from the pseudo-royal family or the demon god sect became a reserved Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven, they would not hesitate to kill the enemy. Orion Slade also ordered his troops to station there, sharing the same thoughts as Samuel Blake. The two troops could only look at each other from different sides with disdain, unable to take action, resorting only to verbal provocations. Meanwhile, Zane Martell had set off with Elora, planning to return to the Meadow Continent. He handed over the Flameclaw cavalry to Samuel Blake for the time being. With a month left before the screening for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven, Zane Martell knew he had to prepare himself well. Along the way, Zane Martell chatted and laughed with Elora.
Elora this time will probably be separated for half a year. Don't worry, I will become the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven and rush back as soon as possible.
You must become the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. Otherwise, I won't let you off. I also have to cultivate as soon as possible. I want to surpass you, and I have a vague feeling that my bloodline is about to transform.
In fact, Zane Martell was in a dilemma about becoming the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. The Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven was supported by the Wormhaven Palace, which was owned by his mortal enemy, the Wormhaven Dragon King, Garrett Flynn. Zane Martell and Garrett Flynn were destined for a fatal showdown. Garrett Flynn was now an expert in the martial royal level, and Zane Martell was no match for him. Initially, Zane Martell had refused the idea, but on second thought, he realized he had Zhang Genyuan's seal in his body. In addition, the Tranquil Sea region was far from the Wormhaven Palace. He estimated Garrett Flynn would not find him easily, so he decided to participate and must become the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. The two flew across the sky at full speed. 2 days later, they crossed the Leon continent and returned to the Meadow continent. Zane Martell told everyone what had happened. Bo Thompson, Gabriel Stone, Ezekiel Martell, and others were all thrilled for him. Even Gabriel Stone was taken aback. Although he used to be in the Martial King level, the Martial King level was only a low level among the experts in the Wormhaven Palace. After that, Zane Martell left behind the Elemental Panther and gave it an appearance transformation pill, allowing it to stay behind to cultivate. With the Elemental Panther's current strength, it could do nothing to help Zane Martell. Besides, this was the northern Demon Country, where the Elemental Panther might progress more. Zane Martell stayed in Meadow Continent for another 2 days. He spent a long time chatting with Elora and Ezekiel Martell before setting off reluctantly. As Zane Martell flew through the skies, he couldn't help but think about the upcoming screening for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven. The weight of the invitation felt heavy in his hand, a symbol of hope and a ticket to a destiny he couldn't yet fully comprehend. Would he be able to rise to the challenge? Could he face the dangers that awaited him and come out victorious? The path ahead was uncertain, but Zane Martell knew one thing for sure. He would give it his all. As the horizon stretched out before him, Zane Martell's resolve hardened. The screening for the Dragon Envoy of Wormhaven was just the beginning. What trials awaited him, and what secrets would be uncovered along the way? Only time would tell. In the heart of the outraged Spirits Mountains, nestled within the Seven Kingdoms Alliance, a blinding light streaked across the sky. It descended from the heavens and pierced the snowy mountain's serene surface. Below at the mountain's base, Asher Gray, The Imperial Master of the Northern Demon Country sprinted out of his quarters, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. He skidded to a halt before the ancient transmission formation, his eyes wide with horror and curiosity.
Why is the transmission formation reacting? Could someone be coming back?
As the light faded, a figure emerged from its brilliance. Zane Martell, standing tall and resolute. He had returned.
Zane Martell?
Greetings, Imperial Master.
Asher Gray's eyes darted over Zane Martell's form, confusion etched on his face.
What's going on? Why did you suddenly come back?
Zane Martell quickly explained his situation, the words flowing easily, yet carrying the weight of urgency and destiny. Asher Gray listened, nodding occasionally, his expression softening into one of understanding and resolve.
Good luck, Zane Martell. You must stop Leonard Hunter and the others. Our future depends on it.
Zane Martell nodded, determination burning in his eyes, and with a powerful leap, he soared into the sky, traveling across the vast expanse of the outraged Spirits Mountains. Along his journey, he encountered formidable foes, 9th level, advanced level practitioners, and even demonic beasts of the expert level. Each one challenged him, their intent clear and lethal. But Zane Martell, wielding his sword with unmatched skill, struck them down effortlessly. Their flesh and blood were consumed by his blade, leaving nothing but silence in their wake.
It's been a long time since I've returned to the Five Spirits sect. I should visit my master in Amara.
With a shift in his path, Zane Martell set his course towards Burial Mountain, home of the Five Spirits sect. The distance, once daunting, now seemed trivial. In mere moments, he crossed the boundaries of the Yarrow Kingdom, arriving at the familiar gates of the sect. Hovering above, Zane Martell gazed down, a flood of memories washing over him. This was the place he had once yearned for, a sanctuary of strength and knowledge. But now, with his powers and understanding of the wider world, he realized how small the Five Spirits sect was compared to the Wormhaven Palace and the vast mystic territory.
Even the current me could turn the advanced level upside down with my strength.
A disciple of the foundation level noticed him and raised his head, eyes narrowing with suspicion.
Are you a fellow member of the Five Spirits sect?
Zane Martell, to avoid unnecessary trouble, had suppressed his aura to the 3rd level of the intermediate level.
Indeed.
He produced his identity token from the Azure Dragon Academy, a small but powerful emblem he had always carried. The disciple's eyes widened, and he immediately cupped his hands in respect.
Oh, it's Zane Martell. Greetings, Zane Martell.
Zane Martell nodded, barely acknowledging the disciple as he transformed into a brilliant streak of light, speeding towards the small yard within the Azure Dragon Academy where he once lived. In a heartbeat, he had crossed dozens of kilometers, arriving at his courtyard to find a crowd gathered, their voices rising in heated debate. Most of the individuals were at the 5th or 6th level of the intermediate level, with the leader, an elder of the advanced level, standing apart with an air of authority. Since the last battle, the strength of the Seven Kingdoms Alliance and the Five Spirits sect had surged, trading resources with the great powers of the Eastern Jinn.
What happened? Why are so many people in my courtyard?
To avoid a scene, Zane Martell altered his appearance, blending into the background. But amidst the crowd, he overheard whispers about himself, his past, and the legacy he had left behind. In the midst of the commotion, Amara stood defiant, her beauty undiminished by the anger that surrounded her. She was a disciple of the Azure Dragon Academy, her voice cutting through the clamor.
Amara, hand over all the things that Zane Martell left behind.
That's right! Who are you to keep all those items for yourself? Hand them over now.
Hand it over quickly, or you won't be leaving here today.
Amara, her face flushed with anger, stood her ground amidst the seething crowd.
As I said, the things left behind by the young master are all useless. There's no point in giving them to you.
The tension was palpable, the air thick with unresolved conflict and the promise of violence. Zane Martell watched, his emotions a storm within him. What had happened in his absence, and what was he about to uncover in the heart of the Five Spirits sect? Under the care of Xavier and Thomas, Amara's strength had surged to the 6th level of the intermediate level. This placed her solidly in the middle ranks of the Five Spirits sect, a testament to her dedication and prowess. Yet today, her normally calm demeanor was shattered. She clutched a small, palm-sized wooden box, her fingers trembling slightly. Zane Martell, watching from the shadows, recognized it immediately. It was the very box he used to store his childhood toys, a relic of simpler times.
There must be something valuable in there. I order you to hand it over now, or not even Xavier will be able to save you.
An elder, his aura crackling with third-level martial spirit energy, stepped forward, his voice a chilling sneer. Zane Martell had never seen this elder before, suggesting he was a reclusive figure from Titan Academy. Amara's eyes filled with tears of frustration and sorrow, her grip on the box tightening. She was surrounded, her back against the wall, as the elder's followers closed in. The box, once a simple container for trinkets, now seemed a Pandora's box of trouble.
There's nothing useful in here. Please, you have to believe me.
The elder's scowl deepened, his patience wearing thin. He barked an order, and 6 disciples of the 6th level intermediate level surged forward, their hands glowing with spirit light.
Do it.
Amara, refusing to be a victim, summoned her own icy aura, launching herself into the fray. With a single powerful slap, she sent 4 of her attackers sprawling backward. The remaining 2 froze, literally, their feet encased in thick ice.
Stay back. I won't let you take it.
The elder's fury blazed brighter. He sneered at his fallen disciples, their defeat stoking his rage.
Trash. 6 of you can handle one girl? She's just an intermediate level practitioner. Worthless.
He stepped forward, his expression darkening as he prepared to launch a lethal strike.
Amara, hand it over now, or you won't leave here alive.
With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a deadly sword energy, a force powerful enough to cleave through stone.
Oh no.
Amara's face paled, the blood draining as fear gripped her heart. She staggered back, knowing she was outmatched and out of options. The sword energy hurtled towards her, a shimmering death. Amara squeezed her eyes shut, bracing for the end. But in a flash, a figure leaped into the fray, standing between her and the deadly energy. With a single, effortless motion, he shattered the sword energy, sending shockwaves through the air. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd. This mysterious savior had blocked the elder's attack as if it were a mere inconvenience. It was Zane Martell. He stood tall, his gaze unyielding, facing down the elder with calm determination.
Who are you? How dare you interfere with my business? Do you know who I am? I am an elder of Titan Academy. Step aside, or I'll kill you too.
The elder's voice dripped with venom, his pride bruised by this unexpected defiance. But Zane Martell's expression was one of cold indifference, his eyes glittering with a dangerous resolve.
Don't waste your breath on threats. Get down here, Kowtow, and apologize. If you don't, I'll be more than happy to wash this place with your blood.
The air crackled with tension, the crowd holding their breath as they awaited the elder's response. Zane Martell's words hung heavy in the air, a promise of violence that none dared challenge. What would the elder do? And how would Zane Martell's bold defiance reshape the balance of power within the Five Spirits sect? The answers lay ahead in the ever-unfolding saga of Zane Martell's journey.